If you want some recipes that are going to save you time and money, here are 3 gluten-free slow cooker essentials. My first gluten-free slow cooker recipe is an absolute classic, a gluten-free beef stew. Now this is a really cheap and easy meal to make. The first step is to coat the steak in gluten-free flour and then fry it off just so it's nice and brown like this. This will really help add to the flavour of the stew. And then I'm also going to fry off the vegetables as well. So I've got carrots, onion and mushrooms. Now frying these is not essential, you can just add it to the pan, but trust me, it tastes so much better if you do this. Then I'm adding in the dried herbs and some bay leaves. I'm going to add in some gluten-free Worcester sauce, which you can find in the free-from aisle, a Knorr gluten-free rich beef stock pot, which again adds to the flavour, tomato puree for flavour and colour, and some red wine, a little bit more red wine because you can never have enough of that. And finally, a little bit of hot water. We don't want to add too much liquid because the slow cooker tends to retain it. And then I'm going to pop the lid on and cook it, and as you can see, after a few hours it looks amazing. Now this is the perfect slow cooker meal to chuck on before you go to work, come home and serve this up with some nice jacket potatoes or mash. Now the second meal I'm going to be showing you is my Harissa chicken stew. This is a really simple meal and it's great for entertaining. So firstly I'm going to fry off some chorizo, just going to do this so it goes nice and crispy and it lets out the oil, which I'm going to add to the pan as well. And then adding chicken thighs. Now I find these work really well in the slow cooker. They tend to almost shred a bit like pulled chicken and they just have a really nice flavour. And then I've got some red peppers from a jar. You can find these in most supermarkets, and some chickpeas. All of these are really easy to find, cheap ingredients, and of course a tin of chopped tomatoes. And then I'm adding some harissa paste. This is what's going to give this recipe a nice kick. And then give it a really good stir, and once you've done this, simply place the lid on and cook it, and you'll find that it kind of melts down into this amazing rich spicy stew. Now you can serve this up with some gluten-free couscous, which you can find in some free-from aisles. I like to serve mine with rice, and it's just a really simple meal. You can batch cook and freeze it, and I find it's really great for those kind of meals where you want to look like you put a lot of effort in, but actually it's just such a simple dish to make. Don't forget that all the written recipes are linked down below in the description, so this is just a visual of how to make these. Now next up is my sausage and bean casserole. I am obsessed with this meal. It is so tasty and so simple and a great budget recipe. So first of all, I'm adding some chopped bacon and some gluten-free sausages to a pan, and I'm just going to fry them until they're brown. Now again, you don't have to do this, but the sausages won't actually colour in the slow cooker, so I find this adds a nice colour, and I like the bacon to also be a little bit crispy. Then I'm adding in red onion and chopped pepper, just give it a little mix up, and then of course I've got my chopped tomatoes, my favourite budget ingredient, a tin of baked beans. A lot of baked beans are gluten free, so you should be fine with that. Adding in my spices and some gluten-free Worcester sauce, and then I'm going to add some garlic, obviously because every meal needs garlic. Give this a stir with some vegetable stock powder and some Dijon mustard, and this is going to create this really smoky, flavoursome bean and sausage casserole. It is just so good. I like to serve mine up with some crusty gluten-free bread, and I also like to serve it with mash. You can add it to jacket potatoes, but it has to have loads of cheese on top because that is the best way to serve this up. Now, as you can see, all of these recipes are so simple. You can literally chuck them on before you head out the door, and by the end of the day you'll just have a hearty meal ready for you. They're all great for batch cooking as well, and all of them can be frozen. Now I will pop all of the recipes linked in the description below. Make sure you check out the blog because there's loads of other slow cooker recipes on there, and if you want to see more recipes like this, let me know in the comments and I'll share more with you soon.